In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
Russ, nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we got a special guest this evening, your boy, MacandCheeasy. Mac, how you doing how are you doing tonight, brother?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. Second live stream in the day with you, and I haven't seen you in a minute.
That's right.
I love just seeing the progression of the Open. It's just getting more and more leveled up. I love seeing it.
I like it. Well, thank
Appreciate
you. We're working. We actually have somebody working in the background that, side note, Crusader, we need to send some content out to that we keep forgetting to send out. That is working on our intro. And I think we've got like some really dope, because right now, let's be fair, like the actual intro little thing is it's clunky, it's antiquated, whatever. But I think we've got some good slow-mo footage and some stuff from having people on. Yeah, I'm excited to see what and how that turns out. But Crypto Fam, the one thing all y'all should be interested in is DCA, baby. We're giving away 5 Ethereum. I know y'all probably have already heard, but get your commodities. What are we at? 1,000. How many?
We're at 1022 right now.
We're at 1022. We need to get to 2,500. I know the market's slow, but the clues are all throughout the NFTs. They are with other content creators, and they're with us. So we've got to sell those if we want to give away the 5 Ethereum. So get involved with that. Jump in the Discord. Do your thing. Follow MacandCheeasy. We've got all of his, well, probably not all of them, but we've got both of his Twitters and his YouTube, The Incubator, down below the stream. Make sure to check him out. And, hey, while you're at it, check him out on TikTok, because that's where I originally found that's originally where I started eating some mac and cheese on the TikTok. So that's what it is. Mac, before we get started, brother, anything you have going on in particular that you'd like to, shout out to the people, or you just want to dive into some stuff? We can talk later. You tell me.
I think we can. It'll come up in conversation. The big thing is, if you're watching this, you're doing the right things. That's for damn sure.
I like it. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what the market's doing. We had some information. Well, actually, before we do that, Crusader, what is on the podium?
So we got Sam Bankman-Fried, right? The obvious one, right? Finally put up behind bars, but we'll see. We're gonna have some background details, right? Some classified information. So make sure you wait till the end of the video to watch that. We've got Apple talking about some big changes in the Apple Store that have to do with NFTs. So we're gonna talk about that as well.
Super wild.
Yeah, I'm still a skeptic. So we're gonna have to go through those details, because I am a skeptic that Apple's gonna make those changes.
Yeah, for sure.
We're also gonna be talking about people being interested in actually accumulating Bitcoin, playing these metaverse games instead of actual NFTs, which is always something I'm happy to hear about, because Bitcoin is Bitcoin. And the last but not least, I completely forgot what it was. I don't remember.
The last but not least is Yuga Labs and MoonPay have some issues with some celebrity NFT lawsuits.
Oh, okay, that's right. I mean, dude, they're always in some type of drama.
Almost feel like it's a plan. Almost feel like they're like, hey, how much crap can we step into to make sure that we stay in the headlines?
Yep.
No news is or no, what is it? No publicity is bad publicity. Yeah. Feels like
unless you're Sam Bankman-Fried, of course.
Yeah, his might not be too good. We shall see. We'll see how that works out, and we'll get into that later.
Well, so the global Kevin O'Leary, because Kevin O'Leary says that he will still invest in them no matter what. So
yeah, he also lied about losing money when he actually made millions of dollars. But hey, here we are. The global crypto market cap's at $870.67 billion with a B dollars. It's up 2.28%. If you ask me, the market is green for one main reason, because the CPI data came in lower than expected, 7.1%. I do want to say, as an aside, CPI data is incredibly, in my estimation, skewed. It does not show energy. It does not show food. So 2 things that we all use on a regular basis that we are getting absolutely hammered on right now, just coincidentally isn't in the CPI data. So just throwing that out there. Not exactly my favorite metric to go off of for what the economy is doing. But hey, the markets have responded a little bit. Bitcoin's at 17,802. It actually got up over 18K earlier today. And ETH busted through that 1300 number at 1323. The rest of the top 10 is pretty well flat, up a couple percent on each of them, as you would expect in this beautiful bear market. But what are we looking at technically, Crusader? You weren't on last night. CVO had a couple interesting calls. I missed a leverage trade last night that I full on was ready to get into, and then I had the FOMO this morning. I did not actually FOMO in, but I was making a couple moves and thought about it. I said, you know what? This is where I make mistakes. This is what I've been taught, and we tell people not to do. And so I backed out. I didn't do it. I'm looking for an entry point right now as we speak. I am looking for very likely a short if we can get a confirmation. But let me see what the charts are telling you, Crusader.
Yeah, dude. So I called it on Friday when you weren't on stream that by Monday we're gonna have either a breakout or we're gonna have a rejection. So let me show you here the charts what I was talking about. So let's pull this up real quick. Where is it?
And are we calling $1,000 move a breakout now? Is that, is that how bad things
and
are?
I'll tell you why. It's not because of the price exactly, but I'll show you here. So in Lux,
look at that breakout.
Look at that, right? So in Lux, right, this is what you want to see on this trend confirmation is you want to see two hits here in the downward trends right here, right off the green. You get this X. This X signifies that you should take profits from your short. Right, and then we kind of went sideways for a bit, and you want to see we're still not. It says a buy right here, but it's not fully confirmed just yet because you want this trend, right? This red line, this is the trend catcher. You want this to turn green. You want this to actually, build off of this buy signal here still. So we're still not in a I would be going long or buying here, but I'm gonna show you why I called it a breakout.
Okay.
So
if you're using Lux Algo there, right?
Yeah, this is Lux Algo. And then this what I'm about to show you is not Lux Algo. But this is why I was calling it a breakout, right? We have been in this downward regression trend all the way, right? If I zoom out, all the way since October of last year, right? Look at this downward regression, how it's been respected the whole way. Came all the way down below it, came back to the heart line, down, all the way to the top, all the way back down, sideways, down, up, whatever. Point is, now we're here, right? And I told them on Friday, I was like, hey, we are coming up at the end of this bound, and we're either going to break out or we're going to get rejected. One of two things. So what happened? We broke out yesterday on Monday, right? Boom. Massive breakout. And now today, we're actually Tuesday. We broke out, and then today is already the next candle's already started. But like you said, right? Rejection, right? There's no reason that we're going to be holding up here just yet. So another thing I want to show you guys with Lux Algo is this right here is the price action concepts shows that there is resistance here. Right? This is a price quarterly low. So getting right above that 18,150 is a little difficult right now. We have a lot of order books down here at 17,000 and 16,000. So most likely we could head back down here. But if we can come back above, right, this price quarterly low and break into this range up here, then we're most likely going to come into this equilibrium. And if we can, then we'll probably head into this massive order book up here of 32% price action. So this is the price monthly high is all the way up here. So if we can break above this quarterly low, then maybe we can start heading back over here. But if not, we're probably going to come back down, possibly break back into this regression trend. Yeah. But if we can sustain it, then we can break the regression trend and start having a trend to the upside. But this needs to be maintained. If not, we're coming right back over here, something like this, right? You're going to
see more and more of, if y'all are wondering, you're going to see more and more of Lux Algo. We have partnered with Lux. It's a really simple trading indicator. I mean, shoot, if Crusader is able to use it, then obviously, I mean, it's really simple, right?
The true test would be if you could use it.
This is a good point. This is a fair point
as well. I'm looking at those and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I love though. There's some really simple things on there where it's buy, sell, and then there's a confirmation. There's that second confirmation. It's been really productive for a lot of people. So if you're looking to check that out, the link is down below the video. Before we get into the articles, I want to ask Sir MacandCheeasy, you have been around the NFT space. You have you own a company that ultimately writes smart contracts for projects, this, that, and the third. Tell me, what's your overall temperature check on the NFT space, and why do you feel that we are either going to be back up and to the right or that we're going to continue to slide downward? What are kind of your overall thoughts?
so I think there's two kind of different ways to look at it. There's the NFT trend that we've seen in the last bull run, where it's kind of the traditional PFP, kind of community-based NFTs, and that's just how that the market determined to actually use this technology. So I think that's one. So in that market itself, we've seen it already, but we're going to continue to see it, where we're seeing a consolidation of projects, effectively companies, and who that consolidation will lead to kind of what are the better projects, what are the better companies that are being operated and can turn it into profit, either raise money and kind of run a business. Because at the end of the day, these communities are businesses. So
Yeah.
that's like the first phase, like the kind of the OG bull run phase.
Okay.
Great. Now what we're seeing is kind of these utility-based passes, or these utility-driven NFTs. So what my hands are in a lot right now is kind of a physical item to its digital counterpart, whether that's your kind of merchandise, whether that's high-value art, and it's really leveraging this digital certificate in a way of providing value to the holder or providing authentication and really improving the end user's experience. So I think the first phase was kind of hype, hopium, and kind of PFP and community based. But the second phase, we're seeing utility and actually improving a person's like day to day, more tangible.
Yeah. Crusader, talk about it, bro. Why, I mean, exactly what he just said. Why are we in the NFT space?
Well, to do that, right? To build out a company, which is what we're doing, that's going to have a long-term future and utility, right? And we've talked about the real life utility, right? We talked about the survival boot camp that we're going to be going to. We've talked about partnering up with PrepperNet, one of the largest prepper companies out here. We've talked about going and building bunkers, right? And building an entire Airbnb experience out of these bunkers that our community members are going to be able to access. So that's why we're here. We're here to build this out. We're here to, give real life utility with these NFTs and build a community out of it of like-minded individuals. So we're all about it.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Ever since we actually got into the space and dove in head and hands, that was our mission. That was our goal, to actually bring something tangible, whether it be education, whether it be like you're saying, Mac, like actual physical products, whether it's tickets, whatever. We really wanted to bring, we heard so often people throwing out this idea that, well, I can't like touch it, hold it, see it. How does that play into, well, guess what? These smart contracts say if then. And so we're going to put some really cool thens and some ifs together, and we're going to make it work. You know what I mean? And so we're trying to provide that through Danger Close Alpha. So make sure, again, guys, jump in the Discord, get involved. We're not only giving some stuff away, but we've got a lot of education that's happening. People are learning how to prepare. And ultimately, in the world we live in today, I think it's a pretty
just a potential $25,000. Nothing big here. Just keep on scrolling.
Just keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about Yuga Labs. Let's kick it off there. They are always in the news. So let's kick off with them and talk about what they've got going on here. Yuga Labs, Yuga Labs and MoonPay named in celebrity NFT endorsement lawsuit. Okay, let's see what's going on there. A Californian law firm filed a class action suit against almost 40 people and companies, including Yuga Labs and MoonPay, alleging they were part of a vast scheme of undisclosed celebrity endorsement. Scott & Scott, which recently was scouting for participants, claimed that Yuga Labs and Hollywood talent agent Guy Oseary devised a plan to leverage their network of A-list musicians, athletes, and celebrity clients and associates to misleadingly promote and sell the Yuga financial products, including its Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. The firm alleged that MoonPay was used as a front operation to compensate promoters without disclosing it to investors. As a result, it claims defendants were able to artificially increase the interest in a price of the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs during the relevant period, causing investors to purchase those losing investments at drastically inflated prices. Let me ask you, Mac, is this a load of hogwash, or is this straight up factual information?
I'm pretty sure it's factual in a sense. I think I remember seeing a video of like Post Malone or someone like buying the NFT through MoonPay or something.
I saw that too.
And it was kind of like known that he was paid to do that from either compensated for the ape that he bought, or so I think this did happen. And now I guess the question is whether or not this is infraction or illegal. And they kind of have something there, right? because end of the day, it's kind of this idea in like the art world where somebody else buys it for X and you're like, oh, it's now worth that. I'll buy its counterpart because somebody else bought it. But in reality, the person that bought it was just the art dealer who was giving back money to the original, whatever, the gallery. And so there's a lot of kind of shady things that go on from like a purchasing perspective for any high value asset, because the perceived value is the true value for something that's speculative. And like something like Bored Ape or any NFT, if you see somebody's buying $200,000 ape and you see one for 75K and you're like, that's
discount.
That's a discount. That's a steal.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the person that was buying it was actually paid to buy it. And so there is truth here from like an investor standpoint where it's like,
we saw that. We saw that earlier, right? Where people would buy an NFT, like let's say a Bored Ape, right, for let's say 100K, and then you would go and buy it from yourself at 150K, and then go and resell it for 110, and you're like, oh man, it's on discount right now. This last guy that bought it, but it was just the same. You sending money to yourself and then selling it for a discount. The next guy comes in, you just made 10K.
Another area where that's done a lot, especially in the LA Hollywood area, is in the high-end real estate market. I have a friend that lives out there, does a lot of real estate stuff. I'm not going to dox anybody on here.
Let's take it easy, Kanye. Let's not talk about certain people.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm not going to get into any ethnicities, nationalities, anything of the sort. But ultimately, this friend of mine is pretty, deeply involved in the markets out there. And one of the things that these high net worth individuals will buy and sell and resell real estate for fictitious type numbers, because there's so much out there that is based on appearance. Right? Oh, I bought a $50 million house. Well, did you? Or the house just cost you $50 million because that was the appearance that you were trying to, to show. Was it actually worth that? Well, I mean, value is just is what two people agree on. So if you're going to pay for it, then, so be it. But apparently that's something that happens in the real estate market. Like you said, high value assets, Mac. I really hope that there is a way that we're able to get some of this type of stuff under control, because we, as I hate the word, but like influencers in the space, have a responsibility to lead people what I feel like is in the right direction. And especially with Crusader and I being founders of an NFT project, this crap drives me nuts, because it gives a bad name to people that otherwise are trying to do some really good things in the space. It says, wait a minute, is it? I mean, these guys can't really be giving away 5 Ethereum, are they? I mean, how are they going to do that? Nah, they're just going to trick me into this, that, the third. When reality is no, just very straightforward. Hey, 25 ETH is going to come from the total sales of this. We're giving 5 right back into the project. X amount goes back to the artist. Boom, bam, slam, whatever, and just being straightforward and upfront about it. But because bad people make life difficult, dishonest people make life difficult for just about everybody else. We're seeing that in the NFT space too. So
look at the Canadians. Now they can't do leverage trading.
One thing that's interesting is like with the NFT space, you want a permissionless environment. And I think where the problem comes in is like, not that the problem is if Yuga was involved in it. Like if
Yuga actually involved.
But like, let's say you had somebody else and you have a Bored Ape, or you want to buy a Bored Ape, and another company is like willing to compensate you for like the advertisement. Like, let's say MoonPay would pay me $100K to buy an ape through their platform. Yuga doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that.
Yeah, so agreed.
I'm interested in terms of how much involvement Yuga has, and then does MoonPay? Why would it matter for MoonPay? Because they're just leveraging this IP effectively and the community to get free advertising.
Like, who's culpable, right? Because ultimately, it's almost like trying to pump their own bags. So, at what point, who's actually going to be in trouble?
Yeah,
we were just talking about it with SBF. Enough fingers get pointed around. Who's actually going to be held accountable to what happened? I think it's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that as we continue to press forward. But Yuga Labs, is in the news again. Let's talk about Apple Pay. This one, Crusader is having a hard time digesting. Doesn't believe that this can be a real article. I'm just going to touch on it. Won't read a lot of it. But Apple Pay plans to allow external iOS apps in potential boom for crypto NFTs. The tech giant plans to let iPhone and iPad users install apps from outside the App Store, a new report claims, due to EU regulations. I just want to touch on one thing and why they're doing this. They're planning on allowing the installation of apps from external sources because of EU regulations. Where is the regulation? I want to read it. So there is the European Digital Markets Act, which requires companies to fully comply with their restrictions by 2024. The functionality, let me see where it is. Maybe I missed it, but ultimately what's happening here is there's some regulations over in the EU that are saying, hey, you've got to allow other people besides just what, your internal, basically, you've got to allow other people into the space, right? Why do you think that this is Fugazi, Crusader?
Dude, I think Apple has too much leverage to even allow something like this to occur. There's only two Apple stores. There's only two app stores, right? The App Store, they literally coined the phrase App Store, and Google's has got Google Play. They don't even call it an App Store, right? So they literally coined the phrase App Store. It exists only for Apple. They have super stringent requirements to be able to publish an app on the Apple Store.
They do.
So now that the fact that Europe is coming out and saying, hey, you're just going to have to let external applications. Apple's never played by those rules. They've always had a pretty much closed system, right? They don't like that kind of stuff because now you're going to start introducing how are they going to be able to regulate the infrastructure for the apps that are being built from this external installations that they're going to be forced to do. I honestly do not see this happening. I don't know what the regulation is. I'm going to have to look at the more details of what the regulation really is asking them to do and telling them and play it by ear, because I do not believe they were just complaining about 30% of NFT sales and then them not making money off their market or whatever, and they're really shutting that down. Now they're just going to let Europe tell them, yeah, you got to let all kinds of apps into your store and just roll all over. I don't know.
I think our government pushes us around, so I don't see why they.
Well, we are nobody. Apple's Apple.
No. What I mean is they push Facebook around, they push Twitter around. Now, whether they're complicit or not, but they do, right? They
Facebook pushes them around, bro.
I hear what you're saying, but ultimately they are working together. The government steps in and says, hey, listen, this is what we need from you, boom, bam, slam. And so while I agree with you that it might not be a good thing for Apple, the regulation coming into play might just totally change the ballgame. They might have to do it. Mac,
what happens when the Apple says, well, see ya, we ain't doing it. All of Europe has no
right? You're a private entity and you don't have to sell to anybody, right?
So, yeah, I think
Europe's going to be like, oh, snap, I'm sorry, come back.
I think if anybody's going to be able to take down Apple, it has to be like government, because it's not going to be the Google Pixel. I'll tell you that much. It's not going to be the magic eraser that I keep seeing the ads for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to be that. In order for it to truly happen, it has to come from like a government regulation, and we'll see. I mean, Apple likes making a profit. They're not necessarily like the best people. They're for making money, and if Europe's like, nah, we don't want this, and then the United States sees it as a model, and then kind of people piggyback, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, to Crusader's point, they were just disabling Coinbase's transfer NFT functionality because of the 30% tax on all of the internet that they want to provide. It's like it's not necessarily congruent with their recent decisions, but that might actually be part of it, where it's been brought to light from Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk has, frankly, I didn't even necessarily know about this 30% tax. Like,
it just got brought to light. Like, just boom, here it is.
Really put in the forefront where, and I'm sure government officials knew it. Maybe they don't know. Like, maybe they knew.
I wonder with Apple being a publicly traded company, how that plays into things, at least here in the United States. Maybe in the EU, I could get on board with kind of what we're getting at. I wonder how it would affect things in markets over here, because they are a publicly traded company, right? They are, beholden to some governmental agencies. So I think we'll see what happens.
They also just made a deal that they're going to start producing microchips here in the United States.
Yeah, instead of
So
China.
Apple has some leverage as well. It's like, hey, you want microchips? You ain't gonna be putting that model on us, right? They just have so much leverage, dude.
I wouldn't put it
I want to
past
see how Europe does it.
Yeah, I would not put it past the largest company by market cap to be able to, push the government around as well. Totally agree. I think it'll be interesting to see whether they, they pick and choose their battles. Is this one that they want to pick and choose? I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of a compromise somewhere that they'll figure out.
I don't know. That's giving up a lot of power from Apple.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with it. Speaking of giving up some possible power because of how this could play out, how about the gamers? This kind of surprised me. Gamers are so against NFTs, it feels like, right? So this says the gamers are more interested in earning Bitcoin than NFTs in this survey, right? Okay. So while some gamers again are against NFTs, integration for games, a large portion are willing to play if they're given opportunities to earn crypto, according to a recent survey. In an announcement, fintech firm ZBD published the results of a study that surveyed gamers based in the US to measure their exposure to crypto and their sentiments towards blockchain gaming. The researchers found that 67% of the respondents are more likely to play free games if the games offered crypto rewards. Out of the survey participants, 45% believe that there are benefits in being able to trade game characters and items with other gamers, while 23% said that it may have a negative impact. The remaining 32% did not comment. Apart from these, the study also found that 27% of respondents are interested in earning Bitcoin in games, while only 5% are interested in earning NFTs. This suggests that more gamers are interested in getting Bitcoin in play-to-earn games than simply getting NFTs. Let me touch on my 2-second opinion on this. This is smart. Okay, listen.
When you were paying Pong.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Appreciate that. The NFT market is still a very speculative market, and there is going to be the cream that rises to the top, or there's going to be there's going to be projects that you specifically want to be involved with. Other than that, it's speculative. It's one person versus another. However, Bitcoin intrinsically has value. So what you're effectively saying is, hey, we're going to pay you out in a steroid version of USD. We're going to pay you out in hard money, in gold. And so I think that it's just people being smart and saying Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And some of these NFTs might end up being securities. Bitcoin's not going to be. Show me the money. Give me some NFTs. give me some Bitcoin.
Some of the, it's like, what was it? 67% of people would rather get paid to play a free game than not. Like, who's saying no there? Like whoever responded no to that deserves to not be part of the poll. Yeah. And then I think Keeper, like of course people would rather get paid Bitcoin than some random NFT. Like Bitcoin, everyone wants to get paid in Bitcoin.
It's just more liquid.
I mean, that's why you got into the markets when they were pushing the ATMs, right?
Yeah,
everyone wants to get paid in Bitcoin.
Everyone wants to get paid in Bitcoin, and of course, you would prefer getting paid in Bitcoin versus NFTs. Like, what does getting paid in NFTs even mean? Like, that doesn't necessarily even make sense to me. Like, but anyway, I'm not surprised by the results. But I am kind of surprised that the gamers seem somewhat interested, because of late, which I'll never understand why gamers don't eat up NFTs, literally eat them up. That's part of why I was so bullish on crypto. I loved RuneScape, and I loved the in-game currency, and I loved making that in-game currency, and I saw the value of it. And if I could have just made Bitcoin, oh my God, I would have never left my parents' basement.
Dude, I completely agree, right? But I think I understand why they're kind of hesitant about NFTs. I think a lot of these companies do NFTs in gaming kind of the wrong way. And what I mean by that is, one, right, you buy a game for $60, and then, hey, by the way, you got to buy all these extra NFTs. It becomes a play to earn, or play to win, I should say, not even play to earn, just play to win. You got to buy all these super expensive NFTs. And some of the games that are play to earn, we complain about, hey, a $60 Call of Duty game, that's expensive. Go play Zed Run. You're going to spend $500 and hope that just to run a horse that probably will never win a race in his life, and you're gonna make
Shout out to Pinky Smalls.
Hey, Pinky Smalls was a great horse and still is.
He still loves that losing horse, but okay.
Hey, I sold that horse for 0.25 ETH. That was a great horse. But you know, so they get these expensive NFTs. I think other times as well, you get the NFTs, even if the game feeds you the NFT back, it's a nothing burger. It's just like, hey, yeah, you own this, but you own it within our closed system. You can't sell it, you can't transfer it, you can't do anything. It was like, so why do I want this crap anyways? If I can't do anything with it, and then it adds an extra expense to the game. I know people do microtransactions, right? Fortnite skins, all this stuff. But then they're like, whoa, it's an NFT now. Now you own it. So instead of $5, now it's $10. I'm like, wait a minute. If that's the way we're going to go, just I don't want it. Just leave it how it is, because I can never resell it. I can never transfer it over to my friend. And I think that's the problem with gamers and NFTs. So I understand that aspect. But like I said, like you were saying about RuneScape, dude, if NFTs were implemented in the way like RuneScape or some of the games were made back in the day, where you can actually profit like massively from just putting your time into the game without having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to play some of these games, it'd be great. But people like Bitcoin, it's liquid, right? NFTs, you gotta hope you sell it. You gotta hope you got a good one. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The liquidity versus illiquidity is a huge issue as well. I think it's a form of solid payment. So I can definitely see why they did this, or why, you know, that was kind of the voting mechanism. All right, you guys have been waiting for it. Let's talk about SBF. Let's kick it off with, or actually I should say, end off this evening on a high note. SBF, we talked about it a little bit ago on Around the Blockchain. Obviously, all of you know, if anybody on the stream doesn't know that he got arrested, welcome. I hope you just slept well under your rock yesterday, because there's no other way that you could have missed that. He was arrested. There's video footage of him getting taken out. I want to start with this. Again, we'll just take this for a couple minutes, but I was commenting on this to Crusader before the show started. Okay. If you think that he did not know that he was taken out, that he was about to be arrested, I want you to take a look at the video. Okay, this man had never been in anything but shorts and a freaking t-shirt, even to the extent of like big like news events, right? The man was in a 3-piece suit. Okay, it wasn't a 3-piece suit, but he was in a suit when they took him out of his own residence. So let me guess. He just happened to be sitting there playing some freaking video game with his nerd buddies in a suit. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He knew it was coming. It was all part of a game plan as far as I'm concerned. I think we'll see where it goes from here. But I do want to say, I am going to be down in the Bahamas in soon. I can't release the dates, but I'm going to be down in the Bahamas here soon. There is a reason that we were going to the Bahamas. It was to protest. Now it's a little bit different angle. So we've got some
going
stuff
down for vacation.
Yeah, a little vacation. While I'm there, we may or may not be speaking to some high-level people, and may or may not be with Ben Armstrong and a few other individuals. So just leaving that there. Mac, talk to me just kind of high level. Again, we touched on this around the blockchain, but high level, let me ask you this. Everybody kind of has the speculation on whether he's going to get in trouble, what would you be happy with? Tell me that. What would make you, so it's already happened, you're not going to be able to take that back. Okay. So now that's happened. What do you think would be sufficient for you, even up to and including some sort of a sentencing? What do you think would be sufficient where you say, okay, yeah, like the man got what he deserves?
It's so hard to say. What I want is for people to not bring up SBF and ask if he invented Bitcoin. That's what I don't want. That's what I want. I think whatever it is, people have to be like, he got what he deserved. And if that's life in prison, is that life in prison? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I think no matter what, legitimate time is needed.
Real time. Yeah.
Real time.
Yeah.
Real time. And as a community and as like the general public just has to see some sort of something happen, so that now from a consumer perspective, you can be confident, hey, the next person is going to be a little bit discouraged.
Mm.
Because if you just slap them on the wrist and say, okay, whatever, you got to pay a fine. As a consumer, how could you possibly be like, there's not going to be the next SBF? You can't. You can't. So that's a long-winded way to say I'm not exactly sure what I want, because right in the extremes, the death penalty. Okay, I don't want that. Like that seems a little absurd. But life in prison, maybe. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't know. Crusader, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there is an answer to what he deserves getting, right? Obviously, like you said, right, some real penalties, but at the same time, it's all fugazi, right? It's all somehow part of the plan. So I was listening to some people talk about it, like, oh, they're not gonna put him in jail. He's gonna get to walk free because he was the second largest donor to the Democratic Party, and obviously that puts the Democratic Party in some type of way. Like, are they gonna give the money back? Like, you put them in a bad position, right? So to not look bad, they're gonna cut some type of deal and try to push this under the rug. But then at the same time, if he does have some type of deal with them, he already paid them the money up front, right? So that being said, if he has some type of information, something that he made these backdoor deals that he would release if they do put him away, right? The next conspiracy is they will just delete him, right? If he has true information, they will just delete him, right? He will get Epsteined real quick, and they'll be like, Sam who? I don't know what you're talking about, right?
I saw that he was denied bail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
should have been. He's got all the money.
They
in
don't
the
want him
freaking
coming
world.
back over here. He doesn't want
I'm
to testify.
I'm not surprised that he was denied bail, but now
I think he cut a deal. I think he cut a deal with the Bahamas to say, hey, you guys.
He's going to
take me
fight
into
extradition.
custody.
He is openly talking about fighting extradition.
Oh yeah. Look,
So-
he's talking about opening up another business. He's talking about, like, he went through a whole media tour, right? Like, this guy, imagine this. Any other criminal in the world, like Pablo Escobar, is out there and he's just going on a media tour, like, yeah, this happened, but it was out of my control, and this happened, like, for like 3 weeks straight before going into custody, and then saying, yeah, no worries, we're fighting this, and I'm so sorry. He went from being a genius to being a babbling idiot real quick. I mean, they pulled all the stops with him.
We're going to find out. And again, I'm going to be down there in the Bahamas. So, hey, just keep your eyes on the content. Hey, Mac, I know you've got to get going, but in 30 seconds or less, we've got a couple super chats. They really want to know this right here. There's 2 super chats from Billy and John, and they want to know MacandCheeasy thoughts on Ripple, because Crusader and I have a running battle on XRP. And they just want to know, the people want to know before we end the stream, and I got to give it to them. What are your thoughts on XRP?
So for me, historically, and this is going to be continue to be the case, I am very big on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are my two loves. Outside of that, I don't go too far. So it's not for me. I don't necessarily. I prefer Bitcoin. I prefer Ethereum, and I prefer what's going on in those ecosystems, preferably Ethereum, just because Bitcoin doesn't really have an ecosystem. A little dig there, but I love it. That's where I focus a lot of my energy. So outside of that, I don't own any XRP. I don't plan on buying any XRP. That's kind of my.
That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
you heard it here first. Listen, it's not hard. It's not hard when somebody's been buying Bitcoin or earning Bitcoin since it was like $80. Him and Blood, I think, are competing for like the low dollar value that I've heard on on Bitcoin. Now, I'm just kidding. Hey, Mac, we really appreciate you coming on, brother. Thank you very much. It, as always, has been a pleasure. We will definitely have you on again soon. Again, check out the links down below the video, ladies and gentlemen. Follow MacandCheeasy on all his socials. The only one that you don't see there is his TikTok. Make sure to follow him on TikTok as well.
Everybody who's watching, make sure to smash this like button. It's been great kind of seeing you guys grow and seeing the progression and seeing that consistency and seeing that grind. And I think the channel and the whole community is growing, and it's really dope seeing this progression and kind of watching from the sideline and being part of the live stream. So everybody in the community, like these guys are they're grinding their ass off. I don't know if I can say that here, but they're grinding, and like these are two guys
that means a lot, because when we first got into the game, we were definitely, we still look up to you, but right off the bat, TikTok, we say, hey, listen, We want to be there. So you've always killed it. I know you'll continue killing it with the incubator. Again, guys, make sure to follow this man. He's working hard every single day for you, for us. Thank you for being on here. Just remember, question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl.
Crying baby like a top.
We'll see you soon.